Welcome to the Two Fat Guys in an Album podcast, your weekly dive into iconic albums and our search for the modern classics. In this action-packed episode, we cover Paul Simon's 1986 solo album, Graceland. This controversial masterpiece of world music became Simon's most successful studio album and won the 1987 Grammy for Album of the Year. In our Beyond Classic Rock segment, we'll look at the Milk Carton Kids debut album from 2011, Prologue, and on side 2, we're going to review the latest album by my new favorite band, Car Seat Headrest. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more reviews, in-depth discussions, and music analysis from two fat guys who love talking about music no matter the genre. I am Mike Blackburn. I'll be your host and narrator, and with me, as always, is my good friend, the maestro of music, the siren of sound, the doctor of the diminished chord, Brek Hufnus. Welcome, Maestro.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
So, last episode we covered the Beatles' epic Sgt. Pepper.
We got every single thing there was to talk about Sgt.
Yes,
Pepper, and
yes.
there's nothing else to talk about.
No cleanup on aisle 5
no,
today?
actually, I have a couple.
All right.
I have a couple nuggets.
Knew that was coming.
I do. First,
Yeah.
before we do that, I have to go back 2 episodes to episode 19, REM Automatic for the People. That part was fine. But on our Beyond Classic Rock album, I don't know if you remember this, but you chose an album called Changing Colors by the Sheepdogs. And I gave a review, which some might characterize as scathing.
It was harsh.
Right, you think maybe I was a little too hard on the Beaver.
I like it.
I am giving the audience an opportunity here to voice their opinions because we are quite far apart on this album. And again, all we're asking for out of the several billion people on Earth is for 10 to come to your defense in the YouTube comments. And this will be the last week to do it because we have to,
move on
with it. So 10 comments in favor of the entire Changing Colors album, by the way. Don't just say I like a song. That's not good enough. You must like the album. And otherwise there will be consequences in a future album pick.
I would say, one, I listened to the album again after your scathing review.
Yeah.
And I understand the big rocks you were kind of talking about there, that
Okay.
it's a little copycatty, but I find it fun, and it wasn't that bad.
No, I'm sure it's fine as a fun album that you sleep through on the airplane. I'm talking about it as a recommendation of music to listen to, specifically me having to listen to, I believe, 17 album tracks to prepare for the show. So that if you're just going, I put it on, I listen to a couple songs and I fall asleep on the airplane, I think it's a great album for that.
It's fun.
Okay.
It's a fun album.
Moving to Sgt. Pepper, just a little fun fact, little nugget. And so the Beatles, is particularly their early singing, is known for having a double melody. And what that means is if you sing along with a Beatles song, particularly their early first couple albums.
I Want to Hold Your Hand.
Sure. Probably a good one. Where they are vocal, singing in harmony. Okay? Oftentimes people will choose to sing with either person. Like, because it's usually like 2 people singing at the same time.
Like John and Paul.
John and Paul typically, right?
Sure.
People, if you ask them to sing the melody, different people will sing Paul's part and other people will sing John's part. And so that's been termed a double melody, and it's actually inspired by the Everly Brothers, who were very influential to the Beatles, who we probably will hear from a little bit later in the show today.
Yeah.
So just a little, it's a nugget, Beatle
Yeah,
nugget.
that's interesting. I've never heard the term double melody.
Have you sung along with the Beatles song?
Well, who hasn't? Really?
Right.
If
And
you're listening to this, they have.
right. And so I don't know. Next time you're doing it, just notice how you might even jump from the high part to the low part, or whatever.
So is that any relevance here to Sergeant Pepper, or is that just
I think actually by the time they get to Sergeant Pepper, they sing a lot more solo. So I don't think it applies as much on Sergeant Pepper. That's why I kind of said, when they're still doing their harmonies. So maybe Revolver, maybe pre-Revolver, I would say, or pre-Rubber Soul.
Gotcha.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things. And then just one more nugget,
Mm-hmm.
because we went to see Dawes live.
We did.
And we thoroughly enjoyed that concert.
Absolutely.
And we had noted that they were jamming a bit more than we had seen in the past, like a jam band. Turns out they were playing the Viva La Gonzo Festival in San Diego with Goose in early May. So I don't know. I'm only speculating. But perhaps the Goose jam band scene rubbed off on them a bit, and they decided to try it out.
Oh, yeah, open it up a little bit.
Yeah, and it was very successful. I hope they continue to do that because they were good at it.
It was fun. Yeah. That and we were standing right at the rail in the front row and watching the keyboardist kind of go nuts a couple of times.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, if you think about being, playing in a band and playing the same songs over and over and over and over and over and over again, and sure, you get paid a lot of money for it. And,
I do it.
But yeah, when you get a chance to say, "Hey, have some fun with this," he had some fun with it.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, very cool. So, in the news last month, maybe,
Okay.
there was an article I read about kind of a celebration for all the Swifties out there.
Right.
That Taylor Swift had bought back or got back or something.
Yes.
All the music from her first 6 albums.
Yes.
Which, according to this article, she hadn't owned the masters.
Correct.
Whatever that means.
Yeah.
So she had gotten control of the music again. So I'm going like she got her master's back. I don't.
It's not a degree. It's not a college degree. She
So
didn't lose her
don't-
master's degree.
I don't know what all this means.
Okay, I will try to chart it out for you from the beginning as best as I'm able to. Okay, because it's a fairly, this is business. This is big business.
Sure.
This is record music business stuff. Behind the scenes and all that. So it's fairly
before you go down that path,
Yeah.
just to point out that if she didn't own them, she's still a billionaire.
She did all right.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that she's a billionaire actually allowed her to buy back her masters, because they reportedly cost $360 million.
All right. So this is all really, I guess. Why does that matter? Why does she care?
Yeah, and part of
Can't
it.
she just re-record them?
Well, she did. All right, let's go back. I'm going to take you all the way back to the year 2005. 15 years old, Taylor Swift signs a record deal with Big Machine Records that gave the label ownership of the masters of her first 6 studio albums in exchange for a cash advance. So she signs a contract when she's 15. Of course, she's had her parents or whatever,
Right.
or she's not able to sign a contract, I don't believe, as a 15-year-old. But she entered into an agreement with Big Machine Records, and so they gave her a bunch of money in order so that she could make albums. And in exchange, they owned the masters. Okay? Which is pretty common in the record industry. Like, this is common. You're giving people money up front in the hopes of making money off of them in the future, right? So if somebody, and I know you're going to, okay. So, for example, if someone came up to us and said, we'll give you $100,000 for your first 20 episodes of the podcast, which is quite unfair. I think they're worth way more than that, but we'll negotiate. It's negotiable.
Sure.
They would do that in the hopes that they would make $500,000 off of it in the future,
Okay.
right? And we would sell 20 episodes of the podcast for $100,000, and we would no longer own them. They could do whatever they wanted with them. They could use it in commercials. They could put it into movies. They could do whatever. They would own those podcasts. We would not own them anymore, and that would be a legal agreement that we agreed to for the money up front.
So would we make any money off of that?
Well, that would be part of the agreement going forward. So if we were forward thinking, perhaps we would ask for residuals or a percentage of the profits that they make off of it. So we'll
Got it.
We could say, well, we'll sell it to you for 100,000 plus 5% of everything you make on it going forward. And of course they would have to agree to that. This is a business negotiation.
Got it.
Right? But there's no guarantee. We could just sell it straight up. We could say, hey, for $200,000, we don't want any future revenue. It's a negotiation.
Yeah. No,
okay.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
So, and so you had asked before about master recordings. What does it mean to have the masters? The masters mean that you have the original recordings of the audio performances, oftentimes the videos as well that go along with it. So the record or whoever owns the masters owns the recordings. They own any post-recording mixes that are done with those.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the tapes. You have, well, they're not tapes anymore, right? But you own them. You own the product that came out of the studio.
Yes.
And you can manipulate those any way you like. You can sell them any way you like. You can make new records. You can sell them to rap artists to use, to sample for their works. You own that product, and you can do whatever you like with it. The masters refer only to the recorded performance of the song. It does not cover the songwriting, for example.
Oh, all right.
Okay, so Taylor Swift was the songwriter, and on her first albums, she kept the songwriting ownership. She wrote the songs. She didn't. She got to keep that. All right, and that's actually where quite a bit of the money is made. And even if you there are separate copyrights. You have copyrights for the musical performance, and you have copyrights for the songwriting. So if you're watching your favorite commercial, and they have, say, a cover version of a very famous song, they do that because then they don't have to pay the original artist. Somebody owns the music.
Yeah.
They're going to pay the songwriting. I'm sorry, I kind of misspoke that. They're going to pay for the music, but they're not going to pay. Say the Rolling Stones did a song, and they want to use this Rolling Stones song. They want to use Satisfaction in a commercial, but they don't want to pay the Rolling Stones because the Rolling Stones are going to want a ton of money. It's two separate things. So they'll pay for the music of Satisfaction, but then they'll get someone else to re-record it much cheaper, and then they can make or have no vocals at all, say.
Right.
So these things can be can be separated out from a legal stance and from an ownership stance. So since Taylor Swift owned I'm getting ahead of myself. So now Big Machine Records is acquired.
Right.
Okay, and it was sold to Scooter Braun. And he's a big-time manager and record executive. He started RBMG Records. He's associated with Justin Bieber, Ariana Grande, Kanye West, Demi Lovato, Dan and Shay. He produced Dave on FX, if you're a FX fan. And so that got sold. So at the time, I don't even want to get all into the details, but basically Big Machine Records no longer owns this product, so Taylor Swift cannot buy it from Big Machine Records anymore, and this other holding company has it.
Yeah.
What actually happened was Big Machine, her contract was running out with Big Machine. She wanted to buy her masters back at that time, and Big Machine said they would only sell them to her if she re-signed with them. or at least this is the alleged legal wrangling that's going on. She didn't want to re-sign with them. They said, no, we're not going to resell. We're not going to sell your masters to you.
Which is a pretty good move.
Yeah, well, this is business. This
right,
is all business. This is all big business.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Her music was 80% of their income.
Good Lord.
So if they give that up, they had nothing, right? So they hold on to that. They don't sell. And they flip it.
They
and
retire
sell,
is what they do.
Yeah.
They sell it back to her and retire.
Well, they could.
That's what they do.
Yeah, except they sold it to somebody else and retired.
Right.
So, and so they sold to Scooter Braun, blah, blah, blah. Also huge with K-pop, like BTS. Like, I'm not a K-pop guy, but I know who BTS is, and they're massive, and they make a ton of money. And they also had like a holding company, which is actually what bought the Big Machine Records, and then those masters got sold to Shamrock Holdings, which is a subsidiary of Disney.
Oh boy!
Which ironically, the Eras tour was broadcast on the Disney Plus. So this is all we're just talking about millionaires fighting with billionaires right now. Is really what this is. Okay, and yes, there's there's an ethicalness involved in all of it, but this is kind of how it went down. So since she no longer had and then the thing that I think really set it off, she wanted to perform her music at the Grammys or the American Music Awards, something like that, and she was allegedly not allowed to perform her own music because she didn't own it. It wasn't her music anymore. So then she pulls her power move, which is, I'm going to record these songs again. Because I'm the songwriter, I own the songs. I can re-record them. They just can't sound exactly like previous. So she had to come up with slightly different versions of these songs. And those became known as Taylor's versions. And this was all very public, and so her Swifties fully supported her and went out. And so whenever there was an option, they would stream Taylor's version of songs all the time. So that's the whole, like that's the thing. So fine, and she did, I think, 4 albums like that of her first 6. She still had 2 to go. And I think Reputation, her last of the contracted albums from 2017, I think she felt like she couldn't even do it. Like, she felt like that album was perfect as it was, and she honestly didn't even want to go back and re-record it. In the meantime, she made a bucket of money on tour. Yeah. She made a bucket of money on the Eras tour.
Pretty big bucket.
Yeah. And Shamrock Records gave her the opportunity to buy her music back for the price that they paid for, essentially, which was $360 million.
Holy cow.
So Taylor Swift currently has complete control over her original 6 albums now.
Wow, it's a lot. A remarkable journey. So if you think about this as the money up front to record her albums was a loan,
yes,
the interest is ridiculous.
I suppose it is. Yeah, that's true.
She probably got $400,000.
Yeah, I don't even know what the terms of that original deal were, and again, she probably got 10 to 15% royalties on
So she wasn't hurting.
Yeah, and she still managed to do just fine. But again, she pulled a massive power move herself by re-recording that music. And not every artist is in a position to do that. So So again, the history of music, rock music, is littered with bad deals and artists getting shafted by their record company or thinking they got shafted by their record company. And
as a business guy, you sign a contract, right?
Yes.
And,
Yeah, I think the bigger problem really was the refusal to let her buy the tracks back the first time around.
Sure.
And I think, she had, and again, this is a lot of he said, she said stuff.
But if what you initially said is true, if I'm a business,
right,
80% of my revenue is coming from one stream.
Yeah.
And someone wants to buy that one stream.
It's going to cost you a lot of money.
Yeah, it's going to be it's going to be a problem for me
Right.
as a business. I can sell that. I can make a lot of money, and my options are shut down.
Right.
Take that money and go, live my life on a island somewhere.
Right. Yeah.
Or I say no and
Right.
keep my revenue stream.
Yes. No,
So-
it's a business decision. I don't think personally, I think it got acrimonious in a bit vindictive, and that if you say something like, "Well, I will only sell you this if you sign with me," and you say, "No, I'm not going to sign with you," so then they just sell it to somebody else, perhaps for the same money. Now you're being vindictive.
Vindictive?
That too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
you know what I'm
maybe,
saying? So
maybe
then
I don't
it's-
know
So
what's-
then it
yeah.
starts to get personal, and I think that's where it starts to get
Sure.
kind of ugly. But the Swifties and Taylor Swift can rest easy. There were no losers in this. A lot of people made a lot of money. So
Yeah, and I'm assuming there's high confidence that Taylor will make her $365 million back or whatever that was.
well, here's the really interesting thing about that is that by making her new versions, she devalued the originals.
Right.
So now she's got two versions of her songs. Right. But anybody, like, there's a lot of music catalog purchasing going on these
Yeah,
days.
there is.
And it's an investment. Some they're buying those songs because they think they can make that money back.
Well, but I get it. These guys who are in their 70s and 80s,
Right.
somebody comes up to you and goes, I'll basically buy all this from you
Oh,
right
yeah,
now.
they're cashing out on it. Right.
Right.
That's
Why wouldn't you? I mean,
No, you absolutely would. There's no reason not to. And then the person buying it is hoping, I don't think they're just doing it because they're collectors. They're doing it because they think they can turn a profit on that
Right.
deal. Paul McCartney famously sold his music, I think, to Michael Jackson at one point.
Sounds right.
Yeah. And not just his music, but whatever the Beatles catalog that he had ownership or the part that he had. So when he went out on tour, he actually had to pay to perform his songs because he didn't own the songs.
Sure.
And then at some point, pretty sure he bought them back
Yeah.
just because he wanted to. It's like, thought it was kind of stupid to pay somebody else to record his songs.
Right.
So who knows? And then I'm sure he'll sell them again in the future.
All right. Well, very cool. So, thank you for that lesson. That was a fascinating journey down the business side of the music industry.
Yes,
So,
definitely.
I definitely learned something there. If you are good,
I'm good.
we will drop the needle on side one.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rock. In the red corner, an album that needs no introduction. Ranked number 46 by Rolling Stone. This album reached number 3 in the US and number 1 in the UK in 1986. A world music masterpiece merging the sounds of rock, pop, Zydeco, and South Africa. This controversial album went 8 times platinum in the UK and 5 times platinum in the US. Performed by the legendary Paul Simon. This is Graceland. And in the blue corner, 2 fat guys. This is 2 fat guys and an album.
So this was my pick. I say that because I forgot kind of the politics and how
You thought this would be easy.
it's to me there's you talk about how many favorites you have or whatever.
Right.
I mean this is one of those albums that I could always throw on and listen to the whole thing. Or the CD to put on in the car.
Yeah, it's interesting you said that because I had it. First of all, I went and checked to see if I own this on vinyl, and I do, which means I also owned it on CD. So this was an album that I liked so much that I went out and bought on CD. So so he got my money twice.
Right. So I forgot. I forgot what a messy kind of background all this was. So to just kind of get our listeners here a little bit up to speed, there's kind of two sides to the problems here. There's what's going on in Paul Simon's life at the time, and then the politics of what's
going on in the world
at the time as
yeah.
well. So in Paul Simon's life, 1983 was the best of times and the worst of times. He had him and, so this is Paul Simon of the 70s super duo Simon and Garfunkel.
Yeah, 60s actually.
Yeah. And in 1972 or 82 or 83, they did the concert in Central Park, which, to put that into context, was more people than Woodstock in Central Park listening to these two perform.
It was almost like a Beatles reunion, honestly. It was that big because they had fallen out with each other. Simon and Garfunkel was in existence more or less from 63 to 70, and then I think there's a bit of an acrimonious split there.
Yeah.
And so you thought there would never be a reunion.
Right. So and they came back together and they did the concert in Central Park, and there was clearly money to be made.
Yes.
So they did a little tour.
Yeah.
I saw them at Comiskey Park here in Chicago in 1983 with Mark.
Okay.
A friend of ours.
Right.
That was the day after the big show in Comiskey Park with I believe it was my brother, Michael, Mark, and myself went to this concert. And I may get it wrong, but this was the day before we went to see Simon and Garfunkel. It was Ministry, Flock of Seagulls, somebody else, Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, and the Police.
Okay. So back to back.
And then we came back. Mark and I came back the next day.
Was it a festival or was it two separate concerts?
Yeah, it was two separate concerts in the same weekend.
So they just had two concerts.
Yeah,
on
it was
the
like
same
the
weekend.
Saturday night and the Sunday.
That's quite a lineup for the first show.
It was. And there's somebody else in there the Fix, I believe it was.
Okay.
That legendary.
Wow.
How did I forget the Fix?
Wow.
Flock of Seagulls was pretty cool. But anyways, so we went back, and so I saw them together at Comiskey Park. So that was 1983. 1983 also saw the release of a solo album by Paul Simon, Heart and Bones.
Heart and Bones, which was actually supposed to be a Simon and Garfunkel album. I don't know if you know that.
Oh yeah, and I think I think they actually recorded songs. He just cut out all of Garfunkel's parts.
I think. Well, yes.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I think. Yeah, I don't have the whole background on it, but essentially, Paul Simon. It was about his. It was a person. He wrote the songs. They were very personal to him. Were you going to mention Carrie Fisher in any of this?
I was getting there.
Yeah. So, why don't you do the Carrie Fisher part?
So at the time he was married to Carrie Fisher.
Yes.
Right, and so his relationship with Garfunkel was in a tailspin again. His marriage with Carrie Fisher, who's Princess Leia, was falling apart. I would be devastated too.
Yes.
She had her own set of issues. But,
yes. Yes. So he cut. So I think the songs on this were a lot about Carrie Fisher and that breakup, and he felt like it was too personal of an album that he didn't want to be a Simon and Garfunkel album, and so
he just cut.
He just cut. Yeah. He just said no, and
so he got. This is all going around. His life is kind of at this crossroads sort of things where things aren't working out for him.
Right.
This album was horribly received.
Yes, it was
poorly sold.
Yes, it actually charted at 35, but it had no singles. He had a string of singles from the time he was with Simon and Garfunkel. Like he's never had an album without at least one or two mega hits. This album had nothing. And so even though it charted, it was considered a failure compared to his previous work.
Sure. So at the time, he was also trying to build a house for him and Carrie Fisher. And Carrie Fisher, that relationship fell apart. He had a house. His neighbor was Lorne Michaels.
Oh, did not know this.
Yeah. So
Lorne Michaels from Saturday Night Live.
Yeah. So Lorne Michaels and him would talk. He would actually, I mean, the story was, I have no idea if this is true or not, but Paul Simon would sit watching the work, smoking weed, watching the workers build his house for him and his wife that was no longer his wife.
Right.
Kind of just this pathetic kind of.
It's believable.
On Long Island.
It's believable.
So Lorne Michaels introduced him to a girl or a woman who had worked with Lorne Michaels on another project outside of Saturday Night Live. I don't know if you recall, Lorne Michaels left Saturday Night Live for a while.
For a bit, yes.
Yeah, and started a different show. And so this woman worked with him on a show and was trying to get him. So Lorne Michaels and this woman were trying to get Paul Simon to help her make an album.
Oh, yes.
And gave him a tape of some African music.
Yes. The Boyoyo Boys.
Something
Accordion Jive Hits.
Yeah, Accordion Jive Hits.
Accordion Jive
Volume
Hits.
2.
Yep.
Accordion Jive Hits, Volume 2. Accordion Jive, how Graceland is Accordion Jive Hits, right? It just hits that whole. So he got like really into this music.
Yes.
And decided he was going to make an album, which sets the stage for us for the beginning of Graceland.
Oh boy!
Which the other side of this was he wanted to record this music that was kind of like this accordion jive hit music of that feel and whatever.
Right. This was South African music, South African street music.
Right, which is called township music.
Township music.
Right.
Right.
So that's the kind of the street music or the slum music of South Africa at the time.
Yeah.
Well, there was another problem.
There was. Called the United Nations.
Called the United Nations embargo.
Cultural boycott.
A cultural boycott. Preventing the exchange of writers, artists, and other personalities. Right?
Yes.
So they weren't allowed to associate with what was going on in South Africa because South Africa at the time was under...
They were embroiled in apartheid.
Apartheid.
Yes.
So,
which is a government-sponsored racial segregation.
Segregation.
Yes.
And so until the...
And there were violent protests. Like, it was violent. It was not going well.
Oh, no, it was horrible.
Yes.
It was very violent. In fact, by actually going to South Africa and recording this unsanctioned trip to South Africa to do this recording with South African artists, violating the UN.
He was violating a UN boycott.
He was doing that, but he also angered the people working to end apartheid.
Yes, the African National Congress, I believe, the ANC.
And so ended up on a hit list.
Yes, he did.
So that's amazing. And you listen to some of these stories, in kind of I don't know if it's a good move or a bad move, but he went to South Africa and he's in a recording studio and he has musicians that he's trying to get to play different types of music.
Yes.
And a lot of them had to leave at various points,
Right. There were, I think, curfews and things like that.
So sundowners laws.
Yes.
Which sound medieval almost at this point in time. But, there are people alive today in this geography that we are sitting in now that remember some of our local communities around here having sundowner laws.
Right.
Where the help, as they called them, had to be out of the village or the community by sundown.
Yeah.
And so this was not too far removed from, the United States kind of experience either. So as judgmental as we can be here, it's in the living memory of people alive today in the US.
And we're not really here to discuss politics or anything, but it's hard not to acknowledge what was going
well,
on
and
at the time.
it feeds like a lot of what was going on and what was going on in the music, and
Yes.
I look at this as just this was kind of my first introduction to world music or African.
Well, it's
music.
pretty much everybody's.
Yeah.
I mean that's the that's the dichotomy of this album, quite honestly. So, just to touch on one or two things there that you had mentioned, he had gone against this UN, this
Yeah.
boycott, and he what he really needed to do, and I think it may have worked out, is had he talked to the African National Congress and said he wanted to do this collaborative effort, they possibly might have allowed him to do it.
Well, and even spun it, so me thinking as a business guy, I would have spun all this as in I'm trying to promote the African culture.
And that's
in
really
South
what
Africa.
happened. I mean, he got blasted, perhaps rightfully so. I mean, this is a very brave
Sure.
album to make in some regard, and also possibly he shouldn't have. I mean,
Right,
there's
yeah.
but at the same time, so he had talked to Harry Belafonte and Quincy Jones, who were both very active politically and had like a direct, I think, a line to this anti-apartheid movement.
Yep.
And I think they had a line to this African National Congress that was involved. So he had talked to Black American leaders about this situation, and they were in favor of it. They were like, yeah, this is a really good idea, but you need to talk to the ANC first.
Yeah.
And he would not, because he saw himself as an artist. He did not want to get the approval of a government or even a government body to approve his work. He was just going to do his work that he believed in.
Yeah.
And Paul Simon, he believed in what he was doing. He absolutely, but he was also naive. I don't think he understood the depth of what was going on, and I don't think he fully understood it until he went to record. And when he experienced that situation, I think he realized it was a bigger situation than he knew. But I'm going to let him defend himself in his own words.
Okay.
Okay? So Paul Simon, what he said about this situation was, what was unusual about Graceland is that it was on the surface apolitical, but what it represented was the essence of anti-apartheid, in that it was a collaboration between blacks and whites to make music that people everywhere enjoyed. It was completely the opposite from what the apartheid regime said, which is that one group of people were inferior. Here, there were no inferiors or superiors, just an acknowledgement of everybody's work as a musician. It was a powerful statement.
Yeah.
And that is how he responds to that.
All right.
We can talk about the music. If
Yeah.
you'd like, if that's where we want to go.
It is. So I'm just making sure I kind of checked all the boxes. So,
Yeah, no, it's it's
So
impossible.
we understand the lines that were crossed and
Yeah.
and what happened, and this might have not been recorded in the right.
Yeah,
way
it was.
and with
It's
the
a
right-
complex situation, and I think what Paul Simon's viewed, you're dealing with this black and white, for
Literally.
lack of a better word, situation,
Probably was one.
and he was looking for middle ground. He was looking
Yeah.
for communication. He was looking for
Well, and
collaboration.
to celebrate the music.
And celebrate the music. And what it ultimately did was, it did, as you said, the world found out about this music
Yeah.
that they were unaware of. Up until then, Africa's a place of poverty. It's a place of starvation and
Sure.
whatever. And it wasn't recognized as a cultural, just of having cultural importance and cultural significance. And even that there are these
from
talented
white
people.
America.
Yeah, from
from
even Europe. I
European,
think
yeah.
from anybody really, unless you're there.
So I think the musical well, I mean, I
Even Black America did not fully understand the
that's
situation.
that's
Like, if
probably
you
true,
lived
yeah.
in America, you did not understand the cultural strength of Africa. And for even many Black Americans, this was an important album for them.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
The other thing is so kind of shifting to the music side.
Yeah.
So he went down there and recorded with these musicians a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Multiple existing bands and groups of musicians.
Correct.
Right.
And, you know, we can talk about those as we kind of get through.
Right.
This. But what he came back with was not finished songs by any stretch.
He had no
of the imagination.
lyrics.
Right, and he just had a bunch of pieces
Yes.
that he put together in a bunch of different ways to make a song.
Yes.
But it still didn't have any lyrics, and he actually contemplated leaving it that way.
Okay.
And then, you know, finally found the guts or whatever to write.
Well, he
lyrics
struggled.
over it.
He struggled with writing because the rhythms of Africa are different from the
Yeah.
rhythms of American music.
But what I'm getting at, I guess, is that the artists who were actually playing the music weren't playing these songs. These songs probably didn't have titles or names or whatever until much, much later. And they talk about the fact that, like, Boy in the Bubble was, they put it together one way and went, no. And so
Right. Well, they
restarted all
they
over
essentially did had jam sessions. Where they would
Right.
just get the musicians together and they would start a beat and start a groove, and the other musicians would join in. They would have these extended jams. But at the time, and Paul Simon was there for these. He was
Right.
present, and so he was hearing the germs of a song in these
Correct.
jam sessions, and he would say, "Okay, let's can we record this again? You do this part, and then you do this part." Like, he was
Yeah.
choreographing it
the sound.
in the sound in the studio. But as you said, what they left with was just a bunch of tape.
Yeah.
And so the miracle of this album in many ways is also the editing that was involved in
Which was
creating.
probably much, much longer than the
It
recording.
was massive. Yeah, they recorded. I think he was only there for 10 days or 12 days in South Africa. And then at one point they brought them, many of the musicians over to New York and I think they were in New York, and they also went to Abbey Road Studios and
Right.
recorded there. So
With Ladysmith Black
Mombasa.
Mabazo.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Made them into stars, worldwide stars. And
Yeah.
so there was the process of creating this was really interesting. And as I was saying before, the lyrics, he had to find a way, like, there's a poetic lyricism, right? Well, the lyricism, the poeticness, the meter of the poetry didn't match, that he typically writes, didn't match the meter of African music. And so he had to adjust his writing style. Like, he had to listen to the songs and adjust the way he wrote to fit the songs. And you're going to like this part. This is the best part. He had to learn to write with the bass line, because he was thinking sort of Western music style is like the rhythm guitar carrying the beat, or the drums carrying the beat. But it was all too kind of mixed up. It's very complicated rhythms. And so the bass line is what the album is all about, according to sound engineer Roy Halley. And Paul Simon had to, once he honed in on the bass line, he was able to write the lyrics for the songs.
Yeah. But not all of the songs are African beat. Right? 'Cause
They
there's
mostly are.
Mostly, but
I mean, there's Zydeco in there, and there's...
You rockin' Doopsie and the Twister. With
Yeah.
their Zydeco. So
Right. No, that's what I was saying. There was some Zydeco. So he heard the...
And then Los Lobos is also...
Right.
did a
So
song.
those are the last two songs on the album. And what he did hear... So he heard the Zydeco. He heard accordion in there. And so he heard these things as unifying factors between American music and South African
The
music.
accordion Zydeco kind of lined up with the African use of the accordion.
Yes. So he looked at those last two songs as a way of bridging this South African music with Western music in
Right.
similar Western styles, like the Zydeco style.
So now I have a question that
Uh-oh.
I probably should have prepped you for.
You probably should have.
So the and we're only going to be at the opening like 30 seconds of the album.
Right.
So Boy in the Bubble is the first song.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that accordion kind of thing.
Yes.
Followed by what I've heard referred to as Phil Collins drums.
Sure. Toms.
Well, but that's that like Phil Collins ruined the drumming recording world for a while
Because everybody wanted it.
he did that like innovative
Yeah.
drum
And everybody wanted it.
like in the Air Tonight, and everybody wanted
Everybody
it. And
wanted it.
it
And they
showed up all over the place all the time.
Right. They would call him up
including here.
and to do a session, and they say, "Can you do the Air Tonight drums?"
Right,
and he
right.
was like, "Well, I already did them."
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
worry. But yeah, that's true.
And then who else shows up on this song?
Our friend, Boy in the Bubble, because our friend
a bunch of-
Adrian Ballou showed up
Showed
on
up
Boy
on
in the
this
Bubble
here too. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Chauncey's
Friend of
buddy,
the show, Adrian Ballou.
right? Friend of the pod.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chauncey's buddy showed up here, which I was shocked to see. I had to do a double take when I was running through the musicians list.
Yep.
I didn't realize it.
Yep.
And the big kind of guitar rip and You Can Call Me Al is also Adrian Ballou.
Adrian Ballou playing a saxophone sound on a guitar synthesizer. So using a synthesizer to sound like a saxophone on the guitar, as he is wont to do.
Yes.
Were you going to ask me something else about the toms, or did we?
No, well, so there was it was something very distinctive about the way that's recorded that maybe we can do in a nugget later because I have to go back and find it.
The way Phil Collins recorded
that
in the Air Tonight.
You know, there's a very distinctive sound.
Okay, we'll put that
That
into
Boy in the Bubble and
Also
In the
has.
Air Tonight has that same.
I think I'm going to go out on a limb and just say they're using echo and reverb on that, but a very specific echo and reverb. And
something about being backwards.
right, they may have used flange on it. No, I'll look into it.
Yeah, so that'd be interesting, and it became like a whole trend.
Oh,
for a
it
while
completely did. It
Yeah.
was, everybody wanted that in that era.
Right. So, Boy in the Bubble, I always thought it was just amazing lyrically. It's
It's
a
an
good
amazing
story.
song. Yeah.
Um,
I have a separate sheet on it. I'm going to have to dig it out. But it really kind of explores the dichotomy of technology and, how you can invent something for good and it's used for evil. And also it sort of portends the idea of millionaires and billionaires controlling the world. So I mean, they were talking about this stuff a while ago. Let me see if I can find my Boy in the Bubble lyric sheet here. It opens. So here so here it is. Here's the opening kind of verse. It was a slow day and the sun was beating on the soldiers by the side of the road. There was a bright light, a shattering of shop windows. The bomb in the baby carriage was wired to the radio.
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot to open an album with.
But I mean, that was so, well, it's still probably going on, but it was very prevalent with the suicide bombers.
Yes, right. And using the radio, like the radio being something that could be used for good, to listen to music, but it could also be used to detonate a bomb in a baby carriage.
Right.
So
it's quite the visual.
So it has this, again, this sort of dichotomy of it, which, by the way, because I know we're moving off of the political thing, but this album really isn't political other than how it was, the circumstances in which it was recorded. Kind of the beauty of it is there aren't really any political songs on the album. They're really just showcasing like the joy and quality and musicianship and all that of South African music. And there was like a particular song that's just talking about, I forget which one it is. I think it's I Know What I Know. and they're talking about, well, what, and it's sung in an African language, right?
yeah.
And so Paul Simon asked him, well, what is this song about? Like, what does this mean? And the guy just told him, well, remember in the 50s when girls wore short skirts and they looked awesome? That's what the song's about. and it was kind of at that moment that he didn't want to he wanted to make happy songs, more or less. Not, I mean, I'm not saying all these songs are happy. No, they're not. That's definitely the wrong term. But he didn't want to go political with it, like in the same way that
want to express an emotion, not a political.
Not statement. A political stance. Not like, for example, Peter Gabriel's "Biko" would be an South African inspired song that was just straight up political. Yeah. He did not want to do that. He basically just wanted to showcase this type of music.
Well, and so Graceland is the next song.
Yep.
The title track. And this is kind of his little autobiographical, I would go with.
Definitely, I think so.
So, and again, he's in this, his marriage fell apart with Carrie Fisher.
Right.
I can imagine as a younger person in that era to lose, Princess Leia would be pretty devastating.
Yeah. He's
Not
talking about traveling with his child from his first marriage.
Yeah. And going to Graceland.
Right. So did you know he had never been to Graceland?
No.
So he had
Memphis,
been
Tennessee.
Memphis, Tennessee.
I'm going to Graceland. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So he was writing this song, okay, and again he had. I'm trying to see if I have anything specific about it, but he was writing this song, and much in the process that he wrote all the other songs. So he had the music, and he was trying to put words to it, and he was sort of. He had verses, but he didn't have the whole thing. And then he just was using the word Graceland as filler, and with the intent to replace it later. And but he said the more he sang it, the more he couldn't replace it. Like he realized that was going to be part of the song. So then he thought, well, I should go to Graceland then. And he did. Like he traveled to Graceland because it was like he was told cosmically to do so almost,
Yeah.
And so that's where he got the lines about the Mississippi Delta and
where's the girl from New York City come in? The human trampoline.
Right. Well, so you go on forever about this album, quite honestly.
Yeah, I know.
But he thought that was a really great line. He does a lot of stream of conscious writing.
Yeah, sure.
And I was watching him doing a Dick Cavett interview.
Oh,
and he was talking about his Simon and Garfunkel songs, and Mrs. Robinson actually was the song that they were talking about. And he just said, you do all this stream of conscious writing, and it means something, but you don't know what. And then you kind of go back and listen to it, and even as the songwriter, you're deriving, you're not conscious of what the meaning of these lyrics are. So he thought it was super. He really liked that lyric because it wasn't an African lyric. It's like a New York lyric. It's it's an American lyric, and he just liked the juxtaposition of it. But I think the other part of that was you talk about this girl on a trampoline tumbling and turning and being in a state of jumbledness and everything, going to Graceland to find peace.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
So I have a note here that the Everly Brothers are in this?
They are. They're the backup singers on this song. So
the Everly Brothers.
I told you they were going to come back later in the show. Yeah, and Simon and Garfunkel also inspired by the Everly Brothers a great deal. So this opportunity for him to probably bring his heroes into and record with them. But yeah, that's the Everly Brothers. Graceland has, I think, kind of a double meaning in that, yes, it's Elvis's house, Graceland, but I think he also looked at it as a pilgrimage and a place to find grace.
Sure. Yeah, pilgrim. So you got anything else on? I Know What I Know. So it's a fun song.
It is a fun song.
But then we move into Gumboots.
Right, and that's the original. That's the Boy Oyo Boys. That's
Yeah.
the band that inspired him. That's the band that he heard, or one of the bands that he heard on that tape.
Which Paul didn't actually like this song, and he thought it was the weakest, and he was going to leave it off. But he didn't because it was
The Boy Oyo Boys. Yeah,
and
I
they
believe.
inspired this. So
Yeah, I
kept
agree.
them.
It's probably my least favorite song
Yeah.
on the album.
all right, and then we hit Diamonds on the Soles of Your Shoes, which one of my favorites.
Okay, going back just once, because Graceland, the song, is a Rolling Stone 485. It's in the top 500 of Rolling Stone.
Sure.
But anyways, Diamond on the Soles of Her Shoes. Yeah, featuring Ladysmith Black Mambazo.
This was recorded in
Abbey Road.
right?
Yes, they recorded.
He didn't want to go back to South Africa.
No,
so
once he
brought
was
them
there and
to-
experienced like how actually horrible it was, and from the apartheid sense, and just the racial tensions that existed and how unsafe it actually probably was to be there. At that point he decided we'll bring the musicians over.
Right. So he brought them to Abbey Road Studio in London, and it was the Ladysmith Black Mambazo. And one of the singers, Joseph Shabalaba.
Yeah, we can't even pronounce like American names.
Yeah.
So there's no disrespect, but
I'm going Shabalala.
okay.
Yeah, but that is true. We're going to struggle here a little bit.
Yeah.
Did the vocals there? Some of the backup
Mhm.
vocals, and there's that sound that.
Well, it's a Zulu.
Right, something. Yeah.
Right, and so there's sounds that are made that are not traditional sounds, like that we would consider part of language or part of singing. There was very specific sounds. Do you know that song was going to be left off the album, or wasn't even included in the album at first?
Diamond on the Soles of Your Shoes? No.
Yeah,
That's a
so
great
that's
song.
it is a great song. So the album was supposed to be released, and for some reason it was delayed. They delayed the release of the album, and but Ladysmith Black Mambazo was in because they were going to perform on Saturday Night Live, and they performed this song live on Saturday Night Live, and not knowing whether it'd be accepted or not. Like nobody, remember, this is a song. First of all, nobody had heard of this African world music pretty much at all.
Yeah.
This is before the album came out. And this song wasn't even on the album. And for those who haven't heard the song, like Ladysmith Black Mambazo, their style of singing is essentially a cappella, no instruments or anything. So they decided that they were going to perform it on Saturday Night Live, and Paul Simon had no idea what the reception would be, if the audience would nobody knew.
Right.
But for whatever reason, they're in town, we're going to do it. And the place went nuts. The place went insane.
Sure.
Yeah, so then since it was so popular and since the album hadn't been come out yet, they added it to the album.
Very cool.
My favorite, one of my favorite saxophone players performs on this album, Lenny Pickett, one of my favorite of all-time tenor sax players. And he's the current musical director of Saturday Night Live. But if you go back to the olden days of Saturday Night Live, and you stay up all the way to the end, you get to the credits, and there's the guy that plays the sax solo at the end that's killer.
Yeah.
Lenny Pickett.
Nice.
He's amazing.
Good tip there.
Yeah.
All right, let's flip this over to side 2. And we have You Can Call Me Out right out of the gate there.
Yep, US 23, UK 4. Again, you have the Saturday Night Live connection. Chevy Chase appears on the video.
And that video was played a billion times on
MTV. And that goes back actually to, you talk about his professional struggles, Paul Simon's, and now at the time of this recording, he's 45 years old. Like, is he even hip enough to be on MTV at this point? Like, this is
No, but you know who is?
Chevy
Chase.
Yeah, that's a good
Anybody
call.
could have been sitting next to Chevy Chase on that chair,
Yeah.
singing those songs.
Yeah, it's a really it's a fun song.
It's a great video.
It's a great
go
video.
watch
The video's
video if you haven't
hilarious.
seen it in a while. Yeah.
And Adrian Blue, as we said, does the saxophone
Which
on guitar.
is just
synthesizer.
crazy how many times he comes up.
Yeah, and then the horn section, and again, this is because of the Saturday Night Live connection. But the trumpets that are on this are John Faddis, Randy Brecker. You know the Brecker brothers probably.
Yeah, sure.
Randy Brecker and Alan Rubin, who was in the Blues Brothers, Mr. Fabulous.
Yeah, Mr. Fabulous.
He played trumpet on. So those three guys were the horn section.
He is Mr. Fabulous.
Killer horn section in that.
Yeah. All right. After that, we got Under African Skies.
Yeah, Linda Ronstadt providing background vocals on it very nicely.
Yeah.
I like the song. It's a favorite.
I like Linda Ronstadt.
I love Linda Ronstadt.
Yeah. So she can back up my vocals anytime.
Yep.
All right. Then Homeless.
Right, which again with Ladysmith Black Mambaza, and that's a cappella song completely.
Mm-hmm.
And so Paul Simon wrote Homeless.
Yes.
And all he had was a couple lines like homeless, and then that's about it. And so he sent that tape to them, to Ladysmith Black Mambazo, and said, do what you want with it. You know, you can add lyrics or redo it or whatever. And so they had a huge credit on this song. When they were recording it, they came in and they couldn't get it the first day they came in to record the song, and it wasn't happening. And after like a 4-hour recording session, Paul just said, well, let's try again tomorrow. And they were crushed by it because they're accustomed to recording 12 songs in a day.
Yeah.
You know, and so to walk out of the studio with nothing was like, it just tore them apart. They went back to the hotel and kept working on the song, and when they walked in the second day, they had it done. Like, they walked in, the song was basically done. And then Paul Simon added his part on top of it, almost improvisationally, and it was just terrific. It's a wonderful song.
It is a wonderful song. 9 is Crazy Love Volume 2.
I have no notes on that at all.
I don't. So that's interesting you would say that, because that's the one song on the album when I looked at this, you know, going back, that I was like, I couldn't place the song at all.
Right, I know what you mean.
And I'm like, I could sing at least a line from every other song, and
Right.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So I'm okay just kind of riding out of there. Nobody, other than Adrian Belew performed on it again. I have no real.
What a hog! What a
yeah. Well, it's just amazing how many people just come up over and over on this podcast that I wouldn't. If you said you guys are starting a music podcast.
Who are you going to talk about?
Who are you
going
to talk about? Adrian Belew would not be high on my list of people that would just keep coming up.
Remember, he was a pro. I mean, he was a studio musician. He was an on-call studio musician.
Yeah, it's and at some point we're probably going to do the Talking Heads, and he's probably going to pop
be
up
back.
again.
He'll be back.
All right, that was Your Mother. We kind of talked about a little bit. Is the Zydeco song with Rockin' Doopsie and the Twister.
Yep.
Which I would like to just continue to say Rockin' Doopsie and the Twister. So that's a Louisiana French accordion music, the Zydeco with Afro-Caribbean beats. And so you can kind of see how that seems like it would be a good tie to the African kind of accordion-based music. That this was. So it's kind of cool. So, again, I, as a much younger guy listening to this, 20-something guy, probably 22, 21, something like that, listening to this album, I would have never thought that this wasn't all just African music.
So I know the math is difficult here, but the album was out in 1986. Oh, I see. You're saying a year or two after it came out.
Album was out in 87, wasn't it?
I've got 86 for it.
86?
Yeah. But who knows? I'm not going to...
86.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. 80.
But yeah, somebody, a youthful Mike Blackburn walking around.
Right. Oh, so it won the Grammy of the Year in '87.
Yeah.
All right. Trying not to choke here. I would thought it was all African music, and the fact that then you look at it and you got the Zydeco music and you got Los Lobos.
Right. It's sort of mixed in at the end there. Yeah.
All right. And then the final song is All Around the World, or A Myth of Fingerprints.
Yes. It's a very long song title.
Very long song title. And that's Los Lobos.
That is with Los Lobos.
Who hated everything about this.
Well, they were, first of all, I'll let you finish your thought, but this was before they were famous. This is before.
No.
What do you mean, no?
Wasn't.
Well, they hadn't yet done.
Yes, they had.
Oh.
They had, in 1984, was released How Will the Wolf Survive, which was the voted the number 3 album of 1984.
Okay, I was just going with their cover of La Bamba for the movie, which actually launched them into mega stardom at the time.
Yeah, but they were pretty big. So this was the number 3 album of 1984.
Okay.
This album.
Okay.
Behind Born in the USA and Purple Rain.
Those are big albums.
Yeah.
So it's 3 with nothing to be ashamed
So
of.
so they were an LA rock band.
Yes.
They were coming in to play with Paul Simon. They didn't need Paul Simon.
Okay.
But he invited him in to do a song, and then he didn't have a song.
Right.
You know how Paul Simon is. He comes in and goes, "Let's jam."
Right. It was the same idea. He wanted music to be laid down.
Right.
And
they thought pretty much he was wasting their time.
Right.
And then what he used was a thread of a song that they were writing
Okay.
for their own album.
Yes.
And then he took that
I see.
and didn't give them writing credit for it.
Right.
And so they took their song, didn't give him writing credit, and released it on this album.
Okay.
And they went back to him and said they wanted writing credit, and he says, "Sue me and see what happens."
Yes. Right.
Right. So they don't.
So what happened is what I wanted. Did they sue him or they just drop it at that point?
Pretty sure you don't sue Paul Simon.
Yeah,
and,
he's got a lot of money.
yeah,
Might as well.
Yeah. So that's.
And when I heard that, I didn't know it at the time, and I wondered if he had actually not credited them on the album, and he did credit them. Like it is All Around the World or The Myth of Fingerprints with Los Lobos.
Okay.
So they weren't completely uncredited.
Is that new or?
The credit? No, because as I said, I have it on vinyl, and I actually went to my vinyl, which had to be pretty close to first pressing, right? And it was on there. They were credited at the time.
All right.
Now, whether they received songwriting credit,
Right.
as we talked about at the beginning of the show, that affects how much money they make off of it. So if they get money off of the musical performance, but not the songwriting element of it.
Yeah. Got it.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Anything else you want to add?
I think we did pretty good on that.
So landmark album, perfect album.
Yeah, Rolling Stone gave it 5 out of 5. The perpetually grumpy Pitchfork gave it 9.2.
Wow, 9.2. That's really good.
That is very high for Pitchfork. Rolling Stone calls it an album about isolation and redemption that transcended world music to become the whole world's soundtrack.
Yeah.
This album is in the Library of Congress for being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. It, as we talked about, introduced the Western world to African music.
Beats, yeah.
NPR has it as one of the top 300 most important albums of the 20th century, and it just like the list of best album list that this is on is a page long. So
in other words, you think it's a landmark
Rolling
album?
Stone has it at 46. It's a landmark album.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a no doubt about it landmark album.
Yeah, I would agree, and I've listened to this many, many times straight through, but I'm not sure it is a perfect album.
I don't have it as a perfect album. I'm not a big fan of Gumboots.
Yeah.
Crazy Love, as we talked about, doesn't really... It's a nice song. It's a actually. I don't dislike it, but it also doesn't stick. So, yeah, those two. And then That Was Your Mother and All Around the World. Those are kind of throw-ins to me. Like, I get where he's coming from with it, but they don't... they're different. They're they're little tagged on.
Yeah, but it also has like at least 4 great songs.
Oh yeah, I have for me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 favorites. I Boy in the Bubble, Graceland, and these are like mega favorites. These are like double favorites. You know what I mean?
No.
I Know What I Know is a great song. It's made
Yeah.
the favorite list. Diamonds on the Soles of Her Shoe is like a double favorite. You
yeah.
Can Call Me Al is a double favorite. Under African Skies is a favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has a few massive songs on it, and then a bunch of other really really good songs on it.
Yeah. I mean, I love Boy in the Bubble. I love Graceland.
Yep.
I Know What I Know is fun. Diamonds on the Soles of Your Shoes, I would never turn off.
Nope.
You Call Me Al is just, it makes me smile every time.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah,
Yeah, I hear you. All right.
And Grace, did you say Graceland? Because
Graceland, yes,
Graceland
yeah.
is an amazing
Graceland
song.
and I would go back between Graceland and Boy in the Bubble, which is my
As your favorite.
favorite.
Yeah.
I think they're both
They're really
phenomenal.
great.
Yep. All right. Well, let's leave this one here, and we have a live read.
It's like, no, I'll take it.
All right.
Two Fat Guys in an Album is sponsored by Deeper Connections Counseling, helping people connect to themselves, the people they love, and the world around them through individual and couples therapy. For Illinois residents, both in person and online, more information at dcctherapy.com.
They're remarkable people, fabulous. We appreciate having them as a sponsor. You're important. Your relationships are important. All of our relationships are important, whether you're talking friendships or a partnership of some sort. This is a tough world. We've talked about some of the politics stuff that was even going on, 40 years ago. We're still in tough political environments where everybody kind of is taking sides. That can really kind of tax relationships. And it shouldn't. It shouldn't ruin marriages. It shouldn't ruin friendships. If you need somebody to talk to, if it all gets to be too much for you, there's no shame in reaching out. There's no stigma in reaching out. The days of thinking that way are long gone. You need somebody to talk to, go find somebody to talk to. If you're in Illinois, these are a wonderful choice for people to take a moment, give a call to. All right, we got a couple more sponsors.
Hey, Two Fat Guys in an Album fans. This is Diane Blackburn, realtor with Baird & Warner and proud sponsor of this podcast. I pride myself in being committed to serve as a trusted real estate advisor for all my clients. Whether you're looking to sell, buy, rent, or lease, feel free to reach out and let's chat about how we can work together to make it happen. If you're watching, scan the QR code for my website or give me a call at 630-638-1999. See you on the flip side.
Are you someone who needs help with their Instagram or TikTok? Well, you're in luck. LR Media is here to help. Email me at laurarose2003@aol.com to get started. Let's make your social media shine.
So welcome to Side 2. This is where we kind of talk about some new music, and I think we're leaning more toward making Side 2 kind of a review.
Yeah.
Less about kind of the highlights of what's going on and musically, and more about a review of maybe a new album, or at least when a new album comes out that is significant enough for us to take the time to talk about and give you a review on. We're going to do it. And here comes Car Seat Headrest.
You like this band?
I love this band. I'm hoping to go see them here shortly.
Yes, and they have a new album out.
They do have a new album out called Scholars, so we're going to take a look at this. I've heard this described a couple of ways, and I just kind of want to bounce them off of you before we get into the album.
Because I was going to, I fully have prepared a review on this album, but they are one of your favorite bands. So I'm more than happy to defer to you on this.
I'm not going to give a review. I would like to say a couple things I've heard about Car Seat Headrest. So if you're wondering if you haven't listened to them yet, you haven't heard me talk about them or praise their music, I'd like to. A couple of different reviewers or music critics have talked about them as a band. And
Not about this specific
no,
album, just
so
about them.
about the band. So I've heard
Okay.
them described a couple of ways.
All right.
One is the Who meets pavement garage rock savant.
Yeah, right. I've heard that comparison to the Who, and it's fine. I actually hear a lot of early Genesis, but
Yeah,
I'm not against the Who as a comp as well.
Well, and here's the second one.
All right.
And this was a rock critic said they're sort of like Guided by Voices LP expanded to the Lamb Lies Down on Broadway scale.
Right. Okay. So we're okay. So
Yeah.
they're hearing. What
So
I'm
there
hearing.
it is. And then my take is.
So
is-
wait a
is-
minute.
yeah.
So just to backtrack, Guided
Yeah.
by Voices typically writes songs that are like a minute and a half long.
Correct. Expanded to Lamb Lies Down on Broadway scale. I
So
think
like
that-
9 minute, 10
to
minutes.
10 minutes, 11 minutes.
Right.
Some of these are crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I love it. I love it. And Scholar,
The
you know,
Scholars act.
the Scholars, yes.
Yes.
So I heard described as a rock opera for the playlist era.
Okay.
I think that to me is a perfect description of this.
Okay.
So
Sure. That's fair
so let's
and non-judgmental.
yeah. No,
Right.
So in kind of behind the curtains here, we were going to do this last week, and I'd listened to a few songs, but I didn't listen to the whole album. I hadn't kind of embraced the whole thing, and so we decided to delay it a week so I could listen to it. And
Yep. Now you've got to figure it out.
I am giddy.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, I mean,
Really?
yeah, I like it. There's a few clunkers here, but the big, I would say the big epic songs on here of CCF and Devereaux
Yes.
and Gethsemane are and Planet Desperation.
18 minutes and
Oh
52
my
seconds.
God! Of 18 minutes and whatever seconds of just pure.
Can I read?
Go.
So
So go
this
ahead.
album has a libretto that goes along with it.
Yeah.
Because you can't possibly understand it.
No,
If you
no.
just go by the lyrics, it's incomprehensible.
Well, it doesn't tie together.
No.
The individual songs are very much Car Seat Headrest songs.
Right. But the libretto sort of gives sort of background on the songs.
Yeah,
so it gives you a little bit of something to hold on to sort of interpret the songs.
Interpret for all you
under-
interpretators.
Yes, interpreting it and understanding what the songs are about. So can I tell you what the libretto says
Sure.
about Planet
I didn't
Desperation?
read the libretto, so go ahead.
I
was aware of it.
Okay. Here's Hyacinth. I can't even say this with a straight face.
Yeah.
Hyacinth, the dean of Parnassus Liberal Arts School, is poisoned on the eve of a clown raid on the campus grounds. I can't even get through this with a straight face. As the poison slowly begins to take effect, he wanders through the campus, watching scenes of destruction as he heads outside its gates towards the river that defines the college's western border. It references many other songs. This is not part of the libretto, but there's a lot of references to Car Seat Headrest songs in some of his solo work as well in it. But that is, in a nutshell.
Yeah.
The songs are a collection of. I believe he discovered
So this is Will Toledo.
Will Toledo, the front man
friend-
and
the-
essentially Car Seat Headrest.
Headrest, yeah.
Although these songs were more collaborative. I think in this album he collaborated more with his bandmates than in
At
previous.
least musically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I think they even sing on a couple and everything.
Sure.
So, and they may have helped with the lyrics even.
He's got a great voice.
But he's very emotive. He found these stories by his great grandfather. Like there were a lot of
Right.
greats. I don't
Right,
have
right.
it in front of me.
There's a lot of
I
greats.
thought I had that. And so he put them to music, and he wasn't sure if these stories were meant to be for a musical or a play or whatever. So he did have these sort of disparate characters from a play, and he decided, and that was his inspiration for this album.
For a rock opera for the playlist era.
Yeah.
Just phenomenal.
I just have to say, though, like an
All right, go ahead.
18-minute song on your playlist, really?
Oh, my God. Yeah, it's great.
All right.
It is.
So you do...
It is Bowie. It is New Wave. It is Queenie.
Yeah.
It is The
I can't
Who.
believe you
Oh,
didn't look at the libretto. It was a link. All you had to do was click on a link
Yeah,
that I sent you.
I clicked.
And then too many big words?
Well, it was a very words forward.
All those words. That is the only... For anybody that wants to check out this album, the only way to have a prayer at understanding anything in this album is to look at the libretto.
To understand it, to just enjoy it, is just put it on and listen to it.
Okay.
There are, like I said, there are a few... There's a couple hit or missers, but
Okay.
True and False Lover, you can keep it. Equals, I think, is not that great.
Okay.
But CCF,
Devereaux I like a
Devereaux,
lot. Well, yeah.
Gethsemane, Planet Desperation.
So you skipped over Lady Gay approximately.
I did.
Lady Gay approximately at only 3 minutes and 47 seconds.
I must have just missed it.
Might be my
Yeah.
it just went by so fast.
Yeah.
It was like
Yeah. No, it's fine.
it's actually probably my favorite song on the album. I'm not gonna say by far because I do like a lot of it, but this song has the most profound message to it and the deepest meaning of it. Basically, a gay son coming back and coming out to his mother, and it's a really difficult conversation. And just looking for acceptance and, do you accept me who I am, knowing this about me. And I think that's just a super profound song.
Sure.
Devereaux I like that it's very upbeat. You can sing along to it. That should be the single. If any song on this album has a chance to ever be played on the radio, that's one of them. That would be the one. But it's...
Do you think they're going for radio?
Clearly not. Clearly they have no interest in being on the radio. But on the other hand, why not?
No, that's fine.
Right. I mean, why not write a song with a hook once in a while?
Even Radiohead tries that occasionally.
Yeah. And I think Devereaux would be the... I would say if you're looking for an entry song on this album, Devereaux would be it.
Yeah.
And then you can see how deep you get sucked in.
So did you like the album?
So I like... I hate to keep bringing this up. This album is 70 minutes and 32 seconds long. So, and Planet Desperation, the 18-minute song, is second from the end. So you've already listened to almost an hour of music, and then they hit you with a 20-minute song. It's definitely got an indie rock, art rock, rock opera thing to it. To me, I like it, but is how I would put it. I think CCF is a really great song. 8 minutes and 11 seconds. Let me go on. Devereaux, I like a lot. Second track. Lady Gay, approximately, love. Really fantastic song. The Catastrophe, the fourth song's pretty good. Gethsemane, 10 minutes, 51 seconds. What's it about?
I like it.
Right, exactly. Reality, kind of 11 minutes, 14 seconds. Got a lot of, I think, Bowie influence in that one. I hear a lot of Bowie. Yeah. Also, the song sort of pays homage to people like Brian Wilson and Syd Barrett. And then Planet Desperation, which I already told you, the compelling story. So I like it, but it's I don't feel like it's successful on the whole, in the sense that, like, this is clearly very, very ambitious.
100%.
Okay. There's a level of artistry going on here that I appreciate. I also do believe there's value in conciseness and actually, like, I'm fine with lyrics that are.
So it's muddied by ambition.
It's mud. Yeah, I think that's fair to say. Like I said, if you even want to have a prayer of understanding what's going on, you have to Google the libretto. You have to like sit with the lyric. If you just want to listen to it and tap your toe with it, then
it's great.
It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, quite honestly.
Who wants to just listen to music?
Why would you choose to listen to Car Seat Headrest in that manner when this person is clearly like trying to make some level of great art, and you're just like tapping your toe to it and having a beverage.
Having a great time with it, yes.
Oh, gosh. That's like the poor Will Toledo. Because I'm pretty sure that's not what he's going for. I think he's going for like this fantastic artistic statement, and you're just as happy as could be.
Yeah.
So
no, I agree with you that I think as if he was trying to truly do a rock opera.
Yeah.
I don't see where he was going with the story.
Right.
But the songs, his voice, his ability to kind of their ability to kind of jam away with some of this. That Bowie, Bowie mixed with Queen mixed with the Grateful Dead.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of things in there that going on, to like.
I think, if you're talking about a rock opera, the great rock operas of The Wall.
Right.
And there's songs you can pull out of there that you go, that wouldn't stand on their own.
Maybe.
That are kind of the hook in with other things.
Yeah, we'll save that for another episode.
Yeah, we will.
Well, no, I agree with you that like as a song, their function is to connect to another song.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
So here, I think it's these individual kind of snippets that he wasn't really going for the whole full rock opera thing. He was going for
each song is a mini rock.
Right, correct.
Each song, like
correct.
Right, you have an 18-minute song. That's a rock opera on its own.
He did minuets or something, smaller versions of things that are all kind of stacked.
Not
together.
really the right word for that.
I was trying to look for a word.
Okay.
It sounded smart, so I was rolling with it. But it's like a bunch
an operetta, perhaps?
Right.
A scene from an opera?
All kind of stacked together to be something else. But I enjoy a lot of the songs, and if you could just leave them as songs and not kind of push the rock opera thing sideways, it is. I'm okay with it. I look forward to seeing the band, and I would be super curious of how they handle some of these.
Right. And I would be happy to see them live.
June 26th.
I would.
Which might be past by the time this comes out.
That's true. But no, I'm not opposed. Like, I like the band. I would go see them live for sure. The last thing I would say is, like, there should be more of a payoff. If I'm listening to an 11-minute song, I want a big payoff at the end.
Sure.
And I don't think these songs always pay off at the end.
That is an absolutely fine comment.
Okay.
So do you have any other music to talk about outside? So how many Fat Guys you can
So I started with 7 Fat Guys out of 10 at first listen. Cuz unlike you, like, I appreciate the fact that you say you listen to this music and you like it and all that. There's nothing wrong with that. And for me, it actually didn't quite grab me. Like, I didn't get that initial hook to the music right away. Other than, like, CCF and Devereaux. Those were the two that I kind of liked immediately. And then after listening to it more and doing the deep dive and checking out the lyrics and things like that, I'm up to a 7.5, which for me is good, like good, but I put it that way. So there are some weaknesses to the album, as we talked about, but I've got it as 7.5, 7.5 Fat Guys.
I feel bad.
Why?
I gave it 6.5 fat guys.
Get out of here.
No, I think it has some wonderful songs on it.
This is what
there was
fascinates me. Can we just
there was
pause for a second?
There was
How
a mix
do you,
of clunkers.
How do you drool over You've done this in the past. This is so... And
Because I like half the songs.
Okay. I get that this is more of a review, so I don't blame you for making me listen to it, much like the sheepdogs. That's different. It's a whole, I agree to this. So I don't... But... the way you go on and drool, it sounds like you're going to give it like a 9.
No, I think
that's like the most enthusiastic 6 I've ever heard of.
The half the songs are amazing, and half I will never listen to again.
Okay,
so I like the songs I like enough to go 6.5.
I will never understand you.
All right. Love you too, buddy.
Okay.
All right. We will. Do you have anything else?
I don't.
On this side?
I don't. I figured this was going to be enough. Yeah.
Just on a whole personal note, I saw this. I'm actually wearing my Billy String shirt.
Yeah.
I got a little obsessed with a video this week, so I could share this off air or on air, so I'll do it on air.
Sure.
But there is a video of Billy Strings from April 19th. He's in Cary, North Carolina, and he covers for 9 minutes and 41 seconds.
Right, but he's doing it interestingly, I'm sure.
The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Well, it's already like a 7-minute song, so they need to tag on some jamming.
Which we saw, the Punch Brothers do.
Yes, they do a great version of it, by the way.
And this is more true to
Gordon Lightfoot.
Gordon Lightfoot, but is still Billy Strings on guitar.
Oh, I'll check that out.
So the most interesting thing that come back and talk to me about next time is he has an acoustic guitar in his hand, and there's 5 of them up there.
5 humans?
5 people up there.
All right.
It's like a banjo, him on a acoustic-looking guitar, an upright bass, a mandolin, and a violin.
Okay.
And it really sounds like he's playing an electric guitar.
Well, there's a couple things. I mean, you can have an acoustic electric. So you can have an acoustic guitar that plugs in solely for the sake of amplifying it. It would still sound like an acoustic guitar. It would just sound louder. Okay.
Sure.
So you can have an electric acoustic guitar.
Sure.
All right. Well, if you're able to do that, then you can run it through effects pedals and make it sound however you like, a la Adrian Belew. So he probably has an acoustic guitar that he's running through some effects that make it sound like an electric guitar. And since he's probably more comfortable playing that specific guitar, he just changes the sound that comes out of it, and he gets to play his acoustic guitar. So I'm gonna just say mystery solved. That's probably what's happening, but I'll check it out because I'm interested to see it also.
Yeah. So I just, as they pulled back, I was looking for the electric guitar.
And there wasn't one.
There wasn't one.
Yeah, it's his acoustic guitar plugged into some effects pedals.
If you're not familiar with Billy Strings yet, run out and listen to him.
Yeah, he's
and if
great.
you have an opportunity to see him live, go see him live. He's more amazing when you're standing there staring at him.
He's here this weekend, actually, in Chicago. Almost positive.
And we're in a garage? We're in the Fat Cave?
We're in the Fat Cave.
Not listening to Billy Strings?
No.
All right. Fascinating. All right. We got one more sponsor to hear from here, and then we'll be back with side 3.
This episode of Two Fat Guys in an Album is brought to you by Smidge Films. If you're looking to bring your ideas to life with some cool cinematic work, Smidge Films has you covered. From brand stories to promos, we'll help you tell your story in a way that really sticks. Check us out and see what we can do for you.
Welcome to side 3, which is Beyond Classic Rock, where we look at an album that we think is worth kind of revisiting or remembering, or
yeah, I've got this one as
sharing.
a hidden gem. I know we go back and forth on it. I know you don't to have your boxes mixed up.
You go back and forth on it.
Yeah, no, because you like to have a box with a name on it. So sometimes we do a Beyond Classic Rock album. Sometimes we call it that. Sometimes it's been a hidden gem in the past, and I feel like this album probably hasn't sold, enough to be. I think it's a hidden gem. I don't think a lot of people know about this album, and I think they should.
All right, so
Hence a hidden gem
the segment's called Beyond Classic Rock, so we're going to roll with that.
/ hidden gem. Go on.
How do we shut off this microphone? Anywho,
Yeah.
this
Just so you know, it's going to have a little gem next to it in the YouTube description,
Well, yeah.
because like an emoji, and you can't do anything
I
about
can't.
it.
I really can't.
Go
Sadly, he's right.
Yeah.
So this is the band is the Milk Carton Kids.
Yes.
And this is their debut album, I believe, although I think
It is.
there's an album before this.
There is.
So this is their debut album.
So their first, since we're just like
can
first
I at least get out the name of the album?
Sure. Go for it.
All right, we're this is devolving quickly. So this segment, Beyond Classic Rock, shut up, is the Milk Carton Kids. The album is from 2011, and it's prologue.
Yes. it
Maestro,
is. Yeah.
the floor is yours.
Well, I just find it fascinating because they did have an album before this, but under their own names, under the names of Joey Ryan and
is that
Kenneth
why?
Pattingale, who are the members of the Milk Carton Kids. It's a duo called Retrospect. So their first album is called Retrospect,
of course,
which is really fascinating. So yeah, they're missing an opportunity. They have a couple marketing missteps, which have nonetheless somehow they've managed to be quite successful in their own realm. So they named their first album is not called the Milk Carton Kids. I don't know why they don't go back and just rename it, because I can't tell you how long I tried to type in Milk Carton Kids and find this album, and it just comes. It's Joey Ryan and Kenneth Pattingale. That's their first album called Retrospect. You can download both of these albums for free off their website.
Which is was released like the exact same year as this.
Yeah, both released in 2011. Right. And
So
they-
very confusing.
Right, and they had named their, had decided they were the Milk Carton Kids at that point.
And we saw them.
I've seen them twice, actually, but yeah.
Yeah.
I saw them at Space, and we saw them at a college, Elgin Community College, in their theater.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They're wonderful live. So to describe their music,
I was waiting for this.
Simon and Garfunkel meets the Smothers Brothers. So a nice pairing with Paul Simon.
Dated reference.
Well, but that's what it is. So people our age would know who the Smothers Brothers
Absolutely.
are. They're sort of a musical comedy brother act from the 60s, early 70s, I suppose.
Yeah. I had an album of theirs.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to watch them. They're hilarious. They're great. Yeah. And they have the same, Milk Carton Kids have the same sort of deadpan humor. So I love this particular album, but a really great entry point for the Milk Carton Kids is probably their NPR Tiny Desk concert, because they talk in between songs. Once you listen to this album, it won't take long for you to realize that all the songs are kind of similar in the way that they sound. They can be entrancing, and they can be. Yeah, they're wonderful. They're folk. They sing harmonies, and again, kind of like Simon and Garfunkel. Kenneth Pattingale is a fantastic acoustic guitar player. So both of them play guitar. Joey sort of plays rhythm guitar, and Kenneth plays lead guitar extremely well. Very talented.
Yeah.
And somehow he sings while he does that too. I have no idea how that happens. Yeah. So if you hear 3 or 4 of their songs in a row, you can sort of get, song blind or song deaf or something, because they sort of start bleeding into each other in a way.
A little bit. I think there's some pretty good distinction. I know where you're coming from.
Yeah,
because it's 2 guitars and 2 guys,
and they sound like
they
them.
Can't change their voice. They don't have additional instruments to kind of provide
variety.
Yeah.
So that's exactly it. So when you listen to them live, or you check out the NPR concert, they have very witty, funny stage banter. The stage banter sort of breaks up the songs a little bit. It gives the songs a little chance to breathe. And there's also, the songs are pretty heavy.
Can be.
Yeah. And so the banter's pretty funny, and to go back and forth like that, it actually works really, really well. So the Tiny Desk concert, great entry point. And then they have a live album called Live from Lincoln Theater, where they include the snippets of their banter. And so those are two pretty good ways to enjoy the Milk Carton Kids. But this album is wonderful on its own. It's been described as bittersweet and beautiful. It made tons of lists for Album of the Year. These guys have a couple Grammy nominations, so I mean they've got some recognition in the folk world.
Sure.
They're essentially a folk duo.
So I would call this. You said Simon and Garfunkel meets the Smothers Brothers.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty good description. The music on the album itself, I was sort of going with minimalistic folk.
Minimalistic.
Yeah, so it's very. There's not a lot of other instrumentation. It's very stripped down.
Right, it's
musically.
just two guitars.
With traces of a little Americana. They have a little bit of.
Definitely, you can hear a little. I think there's a little bluegrass in his picking.
Yeah, maybe rural indie.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's very good. There's some songs that I'd like to kind of just talk about or highlight or recommend.
Okay.
I guess. But the first thing really that grabbed me about this was actually the album cover.
Okay.
I think it really does a good job of kind of describing the album. Alls it is like a winterscape.
Uh-huh.
And it's that winterscape from a distance where it's slightly blurry because it's snowing, and so the buildings are kind of indistinct.
Uh-huh.
And it's just gray. It's cold and white and kind of grayscape.
Yes.
Album cover, and I think that does a really good job of kind of the emotions or the feelings of this album. And it's like this winterscape, this cold, the shadows that sort of lack distinction.
Mm-hmm.
But as us in the north know, that live more north know that winter is just kind of a shell, and the warmth is still there. It's underneath.
Somebody write that for you?
No.
It was very nicely said. Very nicely put.
Yeah, so that's from the just the cover, and I think it ties very well with these songs because these songs can be kind of dark or colder.
Yes.
There's a lot of sadness to some of these songs.
Yeah, like sadness and longing, a lot of failed relationships and lost loves and things like that.
But there's still that warmth underneath it all.
Yes, I agree.
So Michigan and One Goodbye and New York all have that. Where they're sad songs, but there's a lot of love and
yeah.
Underneath
Michigan's the first song on the album. It's the first track, and honestly, it grabbed me instantly.
Yeah, I think it's a great introduction song to the album, but I think it's a great introduction. If you're gonna listen to one song, go listen
to Michigan.
But I don't know. I wouldn't stop there. I think there's 5 or 6 songs on this album.
Yeah, Michigan's a favorite. Milk Carton Kid, where the name of the song, where actually they got the title of the group from. I think they wrote the song first and then used that for the title.
One Goodbye is
One Goodbye. Yeah, Milk
could possibly be my favorite song.
Oh, okay.
Although I don't know. New York is really good.
New York's really good.
Stealing Romance did.
All the songs, I will say, I pretty much like all the songs on the album.
Yeah,
I don't know if there's any skips. I definitely have some that are favorites more than others. The line "Milk Carton Kid" references when you used to put missing children on the side of a milk carton to help find a missing child. And the lyric from that is, "This don't feel like home anymore." The song's about, again, a failed relationship, and he's still living in the house with his, I'm assuming his ex-spouse, and the interesting thing is, like, there's no personal information on these guys at all.
Right.
Like that I could find. And so I don't know if these are songs, how personal these songs are, or if they're just characters that they come up with. But the lyric is, "This don't feel like home anymore. Home was just a broken heart. I don't feel the pain I once did. One day it just vanished like a milk carton kid."
Yeah.
And
which is great, beautiful, and ugly all at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't know if these are autobiographical or what, but somebody clearly here is hurt.
Oh yeah.
Somebody.
Yeah.
You don't write this. You don't write some of these lyrics without having a little pain in your life.
I agree.
You know.
Yeah. Stealing Romance, another favorite
yeah.
of mine. I still want a little more favorite of mine.
New York is a great.
New York's really good.
Yeah.
I don't have it as a favorite, but
Yeah.
I like it.
So some of these songs are only cursed by how great the other songs are.
Kind of.
You know, it's one of those where,
yeah,
that's a good song, but it's not as good as this song.
Exactly.
You know?
That's kind of the argument.
Yeah.
It really
exactly.
is. Yeah, I don't.
So only 9 songs on, so that falls into
It's
your
perfect.
Your
My attention.
no
span.
car seat headrest here.
Yeah.
You know, pretty much all these songs put together add up to 2 car seat headrest songs.
Yeah, Michigan, which is my favorite song on the album, is 5 minutes and 31 seconds. So you know,
going crazy.
it is
there.
the longest song on the album.
Which is again a great introduction song. Milk Carton Kids, which the Maestro talked about, I think is also very good. One Goodbye I'd listen to. You know, New York or Stealing Romance are both, a little shorter in the 3-minute range.
Right.
Strong songs. So if you want to try them, I super recommend this album. I think they're fun.
Yep.
We had a friend who fell asleep in the show, I believe.
We did. Well, and again, they can be very relaxing.
Yeah.
And they're
which I think they understand
they
from their wittiness between.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think they get it.
I think there's something
They're
to that.
beautiful.
This would definitely be a great airplane song for you, great flying album for you, I would think. There's nothing too shocking.
No, they don't
there
change
are
a
no
lot.
dog doors on this album or anything. It's pretty consistent straight through. So I think this is a great album. That's why I chose it. I recommend it.
Absolutely.
And,
Super.
If you're not familiar with them,
Milk Carton
like
Kids,
them.
give them a spin. Absolutely.
Yep.
So a couple of thumbs up here from the fat guys. Fat thumbs up.
Yep.
All right. I think we are closing in on flipping it over one more time to side 4.
Yep.
Which we don't have a break here because we are lacking a sponsor. So if you'd like to sponsor us, we'd be happy to talk to you. Reach out to Smidge Films or LR Media or email us at twofatguysalbum@gmail.com. And we would be happy to chat with you. So, side 4, where we rank albums.
Yes, we do.
Last episode we had the exciting where we heard where the show ranks the albums.
What is your number 1 album, by the way? I forgot. Just curious. No, I'm not. This isn't a trap. Oh, you don't know? You don't even know what your number 1 album is?
So my number 1 album
that we've reviewed.
Or
is that we've covered.
OK Computer.
OK Computer is currently your number 1 album. Okay, I'm just asking.
I've OK Computer, London Calling, Blonde on Blonde.
Okay.
I will stop there.
Those are strong.
Yeah. Well, as our main albums, we have not had we're splitting hairs with the ranking because we got Hall of Fame.
No, every album is strong.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm looking for my justification. Could you talk a little more? I've never said that before. I don't think.
No.
I don't think I've ever said those words before. If I said that.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I got it.
All right.
So you want to know where I rank this album on my list of now 21 albums that we've talked
21.
about. 21
remarkable
top,
that we're at episode 21.
Yeah, 21 top-notch albums.
Yeah.
All, not a loser in there, I don't think. Everyone.
This is got to be getting a little harder for you.
It is getting harder. Yeah, it is, kind of. So this album being a landmark, it does get to that top tier, so I was able to just bump it up, immediately. Mm-hmm. So I do have I did have it ranked at 6 currently. Okay. But I've changed my mind. Like, as of when I printed this out, I've changed my mind. I'd like to bump it up to 5.
Really?
Yes.
So who gets displaced?
Well, that's the thing. So Aqualung is gonna. I had it between Aqualung and Graceland, and
so that was 5 and 6.
Yeah, Aqualung was 5. Graceland was 6, and I think this album is just too important of an album globally and culturally and musically. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So it doesn't fail on that, you know. So I have it behind Wish You Were Here at 4, Graceland at 5, Aqualung at 6.
So what's your new top 5 now?
My new top 5 is Sgt. Pepper. Sergeant, I break the news. My top 1 and 2 are not budging for a while. So I have Sgt. Pepper as number 1. I have Moondance as number 2. The Doors debut album at number 3. Wish You Were Here at 4. Graceland at 5. And then getting bumped out of the top 5 is Aqualung. Also, getting bumped out of the top spot of the 1980s is the Violent Femmes. So for a brief moment, they were the top band, and deservingly so, the top album of the 80s. And
for about 5 shows there, they hung on to that.
Yeah, and so they've been displaced. Really, not so much. I mean, just because of the magnitude of this album.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. So that's what I got.
Cool. All right, so next week we are going to go in the Wayback Machine.
Okay, way back. Just about
Probably
as far back as you can go.
The earliest album we've done to date.
Yeah.
We're going to do the self-titled album by Buddy Holly.
Yep, I got to pick that album. I'm really excited about it.
So we'll be fascinating to see where that goes. So looking forward to Buddy Holly. With that, we'd like to thank our production team and our director from Smidge Films, Chauncey there. We appreciate all you do. Our PR team, LR Media, thank you for doing the ticker-tacker and all your Insto stuff on the gram there. Our other sponsors, Deeper Connections Counseling, Diane Blackburn from Beard and Warner, Smidge Films, LR Media. If you like what you're hearing, if you've listened this far, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Like us, rate us on any of your podcasts. It helps us be found by others. It really does. So
don't forget to share us with your friends.
Yeah, as our audience is growing, to the Maestro's point, do more than like us, share us.
Yeah.
So we appreciate it. With that, I'm Fat Guy 1.
Fat Guy 2.
We'll see you next week. La. Testing, not choking no more. Somehow turned into Grover. I dislike Elmo.
It's wrong. Go straight to hell for that.
Well, because I think my favorite Muppet for an awful long time was Grover.
I agree.
And Grover got totally screwed in The Birth of Elmo.
No, you're right about that.
So Grover had all of the best parts, the best laugh line, and suddenly they created another character who stole all of Grover's thunder.
Do you think Grover's bitter about that?
I'm bitter for Grover. Grover's too nice to be bitter about it.
That's what I'm saying. Shouldn't you emulate your hero?
Yeah, I guess. Super Grover? Remember Super Grover?
I don't.
Yeah. So it's just.
So if there's an Elmo doll with its head ripped off, we'll know where that came from?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's leave that off of the...